Zigs can be the best way to catch carp as they begin to wake up in the spring. The days are getting longer and the upper layers of the water are beginning to get warm, so the carp are often taking advantage of this. Presenting a bait in front of the fish where they feel most comfortable is key to zig fishing. Getting the depth and the colour right is also crucial.
Zig fishing is one of my favourite tactics, and I've caught this carp on exactly that. So you join me over at Brasenose 2. I had this fish this morning. I got here this morning before Ben. This one rattled off. The rod was in the water literally for 2 minutes, so it's a good sign. They're certainly up in the layers of the water. So I'm going to get this one back and I'm going to show you exactly how I use Zigs. So just getting my third rod out now, and what I'm doing is my go-to colour, which is usually, rule of thumb, a black and black. And with this, I just think for me personally, this time of year, Linear, they've had a bit of trouble with the flooding, and I think the water clarity is a bit down. So some might argue that you might want to put a bit of a brighter colour out. I have got a brighter colour out there, but for me, this is my go-to colour. So that's what I'm doing now, black and black. I'm just going to trim the edges up here, make it look a little bit more natural than straight cuts. And then that's it, ready to go. Depth today that seems to be working, give or take 4 or 5 foot. Don't know how big or small it's going to make me look, but but yeah, that's the depth today. So we'll stop talking, get this rod back out there. So I'm just going to have a quick rechuck now. I know this may seem a little bit silly to say, but it's gone quiet for about an hour. And usually with zig fishing, if you get the right depth and the right distance, it can be a very, very prolific way of fishing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to juice these zigs back up, maybe chop the depth a little bit, and hopefully try and find that magical place in the water where they're sitting. So I've just recast my left-hand rod, as you've just seen there. And what I'm doing at the moment is I'm doing, as you should do really at the start of every session when fishing zigs, is experiment. So as you can see here, roughly I've got a 4-foot zig on. My left hand is on a 5 foot and my right hand is on a 6 foot. I've had the bite on a 5 foot, but I'm not having it off on 5 foot. So what I'm doing now is I'm keeping these two exactly as they are, because with this wind at the minute, as it can honestly, it can flip on its head like literally in seconds zig fishing. So I'm just keeping my options open. I'm going to put this one out there now, roughly the same distance as what I've done my left hand rod, which was about 80 yards. So I'm going to get this one out there now, and then I'm going to redo my right hand rod too. So another thing that's going to probably sound a little bit bizarre is when you are zig fishing, you can feel fish on the way down. It is definitely a thing. I've had it happen to me just there. What it is you'll think that you've hit the bottom, but then 5 seconds later, you'll get another drop. And what that is also a very good gauge of where the fish are sitting. So if your lead hits the water, straight away you get a drop, then another drop, you then know that those fish are sitting up higher in the water. Whereas in that case there, it's exactly what I think. They're halfway up. I've got about 13 to 14 foot of water out there, give or take a 5 foot zig. That's roughly halfway. I know it isn't exact, but that's what I've caught on. So I'm putting that right in the mix there where them fish are. And another thing I'm going to mention as well is with zig fishing, it's also very important that you see that second drop next to your lead. With this wind, I understand it's very difficult, but if you get that visual second drop just to the right or just to the left, that is your zig hitting the water as well as your lead. And it's very important to see that, because then you know, peace of mind, that your zig isn't tangled. And with that, you're presented every time. So it's very important to check for that double drop. So third and final rod now. This one's on the 6 foot. As you can see, it's a little bit longer than them other two. I've put my other rod, so my 4 footer, on the right hand side, because we've just seen a fish out there. Put it out there just out of principle of seeing it. So this one's going to go in the middle now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this out, and then I'm going to tell you how I stop the line before the lead hits the water. So I'm going to cast this rod out now. So as that's flying through the air, I'm feathering it down, stop, double drop, drop, and we're presented. So the rechuck was certainly worth it. I won't jinx anything yet, I'll wait until it's in the net, but yeah, like I say, with zig fishing, it's just a case of finding the right depth, and it seems to be now. That rod's been out there half an hour since I've rechucked. So yeah, I think 4 foot's the depth, so I'm gonna get this one in, hopefully, and then I'll get those other 2 rods in, get 4 footers on both of them, and then hopefully the action continues throughout the day. Lovely times. So having just got this one in the net, I've just realised that was on a 6 footer. I got muddled up. So what I'm going to do is, usually when it's happening like this, there's a shoal of fish. So like I said, I've waited half an hour. I know it doesn't seem that long at all, but it's so important to find that right depth. I know I keep repeating it, but it is really important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unhook this fish, leave it in the net for 5 minutes, get that rod straight back out in the same zone, and hopefully if we keep doing this throughout the duration of the day, we can get a few more bites under our belt. So here I have in my hand a Zig Aligna, a piece of foam, and the foam attaching tool. And with this, people tend to think it can be quite finicky. In some instances, yes, depending on how cold your fingers are, but with these, you can be quite rough with them. Literally, it's a case of that, straight over the top, roll it, do a little rolling motion. This is what works for me, like that. You'll see it's curled over there. I pull that, flipping back over, and then I trim that to suit however big I want my zig fish. So no sooner have I got that rod back out, another rod on another depth has rattled off. So it just proves that sometimes chopping and changing too much can also go against it in some ways, but yeah, I've been patient in this instance. And yeah, I believe now this is the 4 foot rod. I'll probably be wrong again, but I've got a feeling this is the 4 footer. So that's bite number 3 of this morning, and I've had a bite now on a 4 foot, a 5 foot, and potentially a 6 footer. He's a bit angry, this one. It's that time of year, water's cold. So hopefully I'll get this one in, literally just press repeat, unhook the fish, rod straight back out, juice them up a little bit. That's also another thing I have forgot to mention, is this time of year, or any time of year for that matter, putting a little bit of liquid, whether that be spray or anything that you choose to put on, just a little bit of enhancement can just make it stand out between your zig and the person's zig next door. 4 foot of that. Nice. Here's fish number 2, fallen to the zigs yet again. This one was on a different depth, different colour, so at least we know everything's working now. But yeah, I'm going to get this one back. I've got a little bit of a nice one to show you in the net. Not the biggest, but he's a nice fish nonetheless. So yeah, it's good to know that everything's working, especially in the conditions like they are today. So the weather's a bit different, not really what you'd classify as zig fishing weather, but like I say, nonetheless, we're catching fish. Lovely times. Nice one. So here's fish number 3. This just proves that zigs in any weather, especially the conditions we're set with today, are deadly at any time of year. And this just proves it, you know, and it's really good that when you set out to do something this time of year, whether it be on the bottom or zig fishing, as long as what you're doing is working, that's the main thing. And it certainly is today, so. What a lovely fish he is as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this one back, potentially have a rechuck. It's gone a bit quiet now, so like I say, get this one back, get them rods back out, and hopefully show you another carp or 2. So the activity slowed down in the past hour and a half, 2 hours. So what I'm going to do now is I've pulled my left hand rod in, and I'm going to give the new Natural Zig range a go. So on here is the new Naturals range. I've got a black camo Zig Aligna and a khaki piece of foam. But that's it. In this game, it could be that could just make all that bit of difference. So what I'm going to do, stop waffling, and get it out where them fish have been showing. Stop the lead, double splash, doink. I've got 2 of my rods in now, so here's a perfect opportunity to show you what I am putting into the lake. So starting off here, I've got a 50-pound braided shock leader. That's then followed down to my lead arrangement, which is a naked tail rubber, which is in the Naturals range. The same as the lead clip I'm using here, it's a Naturals lead clip. 4-ounce distance lead, religiously I use that all throughout my fishing. An extra long anti-tangle sleeve, which you can use for your normal fishing, but they are predominantly used for zig fishing. It just gives you that bit more kick than what a normal one would, making it less prone to tangle. That's down to now a 15-pound Zig and Floater hook link. 15-pound might seem a bit aggressive, but with the weed at the moment, there is a little bit left in here from the summer and everything, so it's a bit more abrasion resistant, more than a 10-pound or a 12-pound hook link, so I just use it for a bit of peace of mind on here. So from the line down to the hook, I've got a size 8 Zig and Floater hook. That's coupled with a red Zig Aligna with a nice bit of black foam. This one has been doing the damage for me today. I've got a single natural Zig out there now, so I'm going to put my remaining 2 rods out on the red and black. I've adjusted the lengths to 6 foot, and hopefully we can nick one more bite before the night draws in. So, evening update, as you can probably see, the night is starting to draw in now, but yeah, we're losing light. It's been a surprisingly slow afternoon, to be honest. After I had those 3 early on, I thought the action was going to continue throughout the afternoon, but yeah, like I say, surprisingly it's slowed up, but we are still seeing fish out there. I've done everything in my armoury that I can do. I've changed colours, depths, I've tried everything, like I say, so yeah, on my front, there's not much more else I can do really in my eyes. I'm going to keep with the method of the zigs, because I know from previous sessions on here that myself, I've caught on zigs during the evening. A couple of friends who I had fishing here yesterday, they caught going into the evening, well, just before the gate shut. So I'm going to stick with that. Hopefully it pays off. And yeah, I might be showing you a carp in the hours of darkness. So now is a good time to talk to you about my setup. So rods, we'll start with the rods. Currently, the rods that I'm using at the moment are the new X6s. They're in a 12-foot 3 3/4 variant. I've only had them since the start of the year. Honestly, flawless. They're a lovely rod to play fish on. They've got a lovely through action, a tip action when you're playing the carp. And I think for me personally, when you're zig fishing, it's a 12-foot minimum. If you've got that extra 6-foot hook link, you want that bit more leverage when you're coming in to net the fish. For me personally, that's what I feel comfortable with using. And yeah, that's my rods. Now we'll move on to the reels. These are the 12,000 XCs. I've got those coupled up with a 16-pound Exocet Pro mono. That's followed to, like I mentioned earlier, my 50-pound braided shot leader, and they're really well suited for zig fishing. Usually I'm a braid man. On my Syndicate down the road, I'll use braid, but obviously when we're zig fishing, you need a bit more play. With there being no stretching braid and then stretching the mono, it just cushions the hook hold in the fish's mouth, giving you less prone to having hook pulls. And all that is sat on the QR pod. With the gravel that we've got in the swims here, having a pod makes life so much easier. Plonk it down and you're fishing straight away. So weirdly, we've had a very sunny as such afternoon. Not a beep. As soon as the sun's tucked away, we've had a bite. Mental. Seems to be like what's happening, what happened on St John's with me and Moz. Blazing hot sun. That's annoying. As frustrating as it can be sometimes, that is the nature of zig fishing. I mean, you're fishing with a small hook. Yet again, that's preferable. I prefer a smaller hook, but a 3-to-1 ratio, that's the first one I've lost. It does happen. It's never nice when it does happen, but the only thing to do now is get that rod straight back out on the spot to where them fish have been, and hopefully get another opportunity. So this fish has effectively swam towards me. God, it's coming so quick. hopefully we don't have another scenario of what happened earlier. Nobody likes that. Just down here now, grab my net. Another thing I'm going to mention as well, this is the new X6 net. He's in the net. Lovely times. Going back to what I was saying about the net, this is the new X6 net. I'm walking out of shot here. 8-foot pole, absolutely essential when zig fishing. With that extra long hook link, it just gives you that bit more leverage, same as the rods, to sweep that fish up a bit better. Didn't really do a good job there, but hopefully I'll show you next time how good it can be. Oh, so after that little hiccup earlier, it's always nice to be holding that nice earned carp afterwards. This just goes to prove that zigs work not only during the day, but in the night time also. A lot of people don't have confidence with them during the night time. If this doesn't give you confidence, I don't know what will. So I'm going to stop talking, put my hot water bottle on because my hands are freezing, and hopefully we'll catch some more like this one. And it seems to be, I don't know if you can tell, he's got only one eye. I've got a theme for this at the minute, catching fish with one eye. So yeah, let's get him back and hopefully catch another carp. It's always nice to think that there's one in here probably 25 pound bigger than this one. They're all welcome. Just imagine that though. Like's a big common I do. Cheers, mate. Good morning. The action has continued through the night. Had a couple of fish during the hours of darkness, a couple this morning. A few of them I just flopped back. They were a little bit small, so sent them back on their merry way. Had one that you'd see from last night, quite a nice looking fish. But yeah, there was quite a lot of fish out there, so we just unhooked him, put him back, got the rod straight back out. And I think I had, yeah, about 4 or 5 fish last night. This was the final rod remaining this morning. Got the other 2 in there. I was literally just about to re-chuck. We're getting up to first light now. I'm gonna go with the exact same tactics as what I did yesterday. Black and red, which I believe this one's on now. I'm gonna take that naturals one off because it was the only one that didn't do a bite yesterday. And whether that's due to clarity, colour, it just seems to be on the day that black and red is doing the do. So I think that's what we're going to stick with today. That's going to be the plan of attack. I haven't really seen many fish show this morning, but obviously they're still out there. The wind's got up a bit more in the last hour or so. So what are we now? About half seven I think we are. So as I've mentioned, the bites have been coming on black and red. So a red Zig Aligna with black foam, which isn't my go-to, but being in touch with the place, you know what colours are doing bites, so instantly you put those out as you would. So yeah, my go-to is black and black. What's your go-to? What would you put out if you were zig fishing as a first port of call? Mine's black and black. Let us know what yours is in the comments. Black and black that was? Is it? Yeah. What a lovely way to start the morning. This one's tipped the scales round to £31, making it my first 30 of the year and my biggest fish on the zigs this trip. Yeah, I'm really made up with this one, you know. It just proves that sticking with a tactic that works not only during the day but during the night time as well. You know, you've got to have confidence in what you're doing. And yeah, this one I think is number 9 now. So yeah, just proves everything's working. I'm going to stay with the same tactics as today. There's a lot of fish showing out there now, so yeah. Hopefully we can have 1 or 2 before the trip ends, but if not, I'm absolutely made up with this one. Go on, mate. Lovely times. Yes.
Max.
It's funny you should ask. I'm just having a quick scroll through the Fox Syndicate page that has recently just launched over on Facebook. There's competitions to be won, there's insights into new products, and basically general carpy chit chat. There's a QR code on the screen right here. Click this and it'll take you directly to the page. So, my Zig bag consists of the new natural Zig kit. I've got a £10, a £12 and a £15 breaking strain of line. That just accommodates for every situation. I've got every colour of Zig foam under the sun, just to be on the safe side. Extra long anti-tangle sleeves. Little boxes that I keep all my bits. I'll just show you that quickly actually. Little gadgets like this. I've used all my black foam, but just bits like that I keep all my stuff in. Although this may seem like a bit excessive, but I've got absolutely everything I need in here. It's not heavy, it's not too much to carry around, and that fits in my rucksack, and I carry this around with me all year round. Oh, and that is that. Unfortunately, the weather's completely flipped on its head. We've got really aggressive headwinds. It's just, yeah, the heavens are about to open. So I'm gonna call it for now, make the right decision. It's not really Zig weather anymore, but I'm more than happy with how the trip's turned out. We've had some good fish, we've had some good times, and that's what it's all about. I hope you've learned something from this video, and I hope it gives you the urge to start putting Zigs out when necessary. And yeah, for now, tight lines, and best of luck when you're next out on the bank. Thank you so much for watching my latest video on the Fox channel, but if you want to watch our latest product launch, click here. If you want to watch our latest video, click here. And if you want to subscribe, click here. Yeah? No? You're still rolling with it?